ready to start. I mean, you can say another round of hellos and then we'll, but I'm streaming us to YouTube now. So, you know, you got to be careful what you say because now the world is watching. Okay.
Pretty scary.
Yes.
The World Wide Webs.
Worldwide. Got it.
That's an amazing thing. It's too bad there's no Nobel Prize for computing because that guy deserves one.
But I'm streaming us to YouTube now, so you know you got to be careful what you say. Now the world. All right, there we go. I close that so we don't hear an echo. All right, good. A few more folks coming in. And one of these days.
Happy Hanukkah, everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Happy Hanukkah. Light. We have sunlight today.
Yes. And let's see. Mute myself for. Thank my co-hosts for helping me let people in. So, okay, here's one without a name. So when we have people come in who we don't know the name, can I ask one of the co-hosts to find out who they are right now? Henry, shall I make you a co-host? Are you feeling co-hosty today? Give me a thumbs up if you're feeling co-hosty. All right, thank you. We have 5, but I just figured the more the merrier. That way, if I miss something, at least I know I got 4 people got my back there. So
I think the phone number is Stan.
oh, the phone number Stan, but there's one that had the name owner. I don't.
Yeah. Okay.
Because Zoom, you know, you have to set it up, and so it's okay. I just like to know who people are, right? So,
That's right.
yeah. Okay. So who? Richard's here. Who else just came in? Okay, screen through who I haven't said hello to, who's coming in. Hi, Pat and Abby. I see you. Hi, Judy. Hi, Beth. Hi, Henry. Hi, Vic. And Margaret hiding on the side. I know she's there. Haha. Hi, Constance. Mary, I saw you and you disappeared.
Owner is Nancy Garneau.
Oh, okay. So if someone wants
Nancy Garneau. I guess I'm blowing your cover, but I hope Nancy. I hope you can forgive me.
Hi, Kathy. Matteo, I thought I saw her. Kate and Jeff, hello. Nancy, we're going to put your name in there just so I can call you Nancy and not owner. I don't know. Who's that? Vicky and Leela saying hello. Peter, good morning. Mark, how are you? I'm hoping Karen's nearby. Mary Alice, hello. Annie. All right. Christine, good morning. All right. Am I seeing Don? You slipped in there, Don, you sneaky guy. All right. All right. I am going to start things. I'm going to ask everyone to mute. If you're not already muted, I will probably know that, but can my co-hosts go through and help us mute so that we can begin? Thank you, Richard and Pat, for that. Thanks. Tell Pat I expect a phone call with some singing later. Come on. No. No, I'm being pushy. No, it's okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to UU Catskills Online. That's our new, no. I'm the Reverend Dr. Leonisa Artizone, minister here. Thank you for joining us for our online worship service today. I'm glad so many of you have hung in. I know this is not what we all had in store for how we would gather, but I think we're doing a bang up job, and I am grateful that you all keep coming back. And keep coming back to UU Catskills. So I'm glad to see you all this morning, and thank you for the birthday wishes that are coming in or that already came in. Yes, my birthday was yesterday, so thank you all for that. Those of you who wrote or sent things, I appreciate that very much. I do encourage you that while we're online, it's a great time to invite your friends who are curious about Unitarian Universalism. And actually, a friend of mine from high school changed UU to stand for, oh, what was it? Uniforms United. I hope you like your job at Uniforms United. He was clearly making a joke, but it was pretty funny, actually. But instead, we're Unitarian Universalists. So whomever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your life's journey, you are welcome here. If you're new to our community or feel like you haven't been getting emails or things, because we do send things out and we worry that people don't open them or read them, but if you aren't in the loop, then please in the chat box, put your email address, your name and email. And if you're new visiting us, put that information in there so we make sure we get to know you. I'm going to share my screen to share some announcements and thingies with you. Okay. All right, we covered that slide already. Our welcome. Okay, here at UU Catskills, well, we are Unitarian Universalists. We carry no creed. We are liberal religious faith guided by 7 principles and 6 sources. Please visit our website, UU Catskills, to learn more about Unitarian Universalism. We, living where we do, are active in organizations locally that help embody our 7 principles. We live into these by being voices for Black Lives Matter. We support immigrant rights through the Ulster Immigrant Defense Network. We are active voices in addressing climate change, and we support LGBTQ rights. I wanted to go through a few things that we have happening. So I keep showing this slide as a way of enticing you all to make sure you know what community circle you're in and how you can hang out with the folks in your circle. Now, I know the weather is getting cold, so we are now moving to having these small groups meet online. We can still meet outdoors too, but not everyone is as hardy as, you know, well, I'm a weak Southern Italian stock, so I prefer being indoors in the winter, but I will go for a brisk walk if someone wants, but I like the idea that we're trying to do these, online now, and we have 2 set up already. I think the 15th and the 22nd, we have 2 Kingston groups meeting with me online. So this is my rah moment to say, any of you who are the coordinators for these groups, please reach out to me immediately or as soon as possible so we can get some online gatherings on my calendar if you want me there. You can also meet without me, but I think it'd be fun if I get to come too. You know, I don't want to be left out. No. So if you want, email me as soon as you can though, so we can get stuff on the calendar. I have a special announcement too, a reminder that we have 3 active fundraisers kind of always happening. And a couple of them are perfect timing for Christmas, right? So or any holiday actually, we celebrate solstice. So if you want to do gift cards for people you love or people you know are in need, or however you would like to support us and others, please, oops, sorry, that went too fast. Contact Jerry Lynn, and we're actually figuring out a way where we might do a dedicated pay and pickup day. So we have gift cards for Mother Earth and Adams that we make money on. So I encourage you to think about giving the gift of good, healthy food to people. We also still have our solstice program running. So if you have not yet signed up to be part of our solstice farm, then you can do so. And Jenny Giddy is the gal to talk to about that. And I am promoting so the Racial Justice Working Group has been doing a lot of good work, but we realized that we would really like to expand the circle of our conversation. So we have, I've reached out to the publisher of this book, the Racial Healing Handbook, and they will give us a massive discount if we buy more than 10 copies, 10 to 50 copies. I think the price goes down to $13.72 from $25. So maybe it's more like with shipping. So like $14 for a book that you would pay $25 for. And so I'm trying to entice you all to be part of this racial healing work that we've already begun at the congregation, that is happening in Kingston, that is happening in many UU communities. So if you are interested in being part of what we're going to do is probably a series of small group gatherings based around this book, the Racial Healing Handbook, then you can shoot me an email, or Donna, if that's okay. She's going to be mad. I'm voluntelling Donna that she's going to be the point person, but she has been thus far. So you can write to either Donna Schlockman or I, or even just put it in the chat, because I saved the transcript and I can go back through. So if you say, I want a Racial Healing Handbook, I want to be part of this conversation, that would be fantastic. So please join us in that. Got lots of things happening as usual today at 4 o'clock. Our grief support group with Leela, I believe, is still meeting. Today after services, we're doing UU 101 with me, but I really would like it to be visitors and folks who are thinking about becoming members. So really newbies and a member of the membership committee will join me in there. And we'll probably talk about the 7 principles today. Tuesday, we have our Buddha Cats group at 5, Women's Circle at 7:30. Wednesday evening, as always, join me for Vespers. This will be the last one, and then I'm gonna take a break until January sometime. So if you haven't checked out Vespers and you're curious, here's a time to see if it's for you before we start again in the new year. Thursday is bedtime story. And Friday morning, I'm gonna call it meditative yoga because it's not your traditional hatha. It's, it just fell out of my head. Okay. I want to say Kundalini. Am I correct? Someone give me a thumbs up if I am. I'm losing it. Sorry. And then this Friday, it's not ideal, but it's going to be great. We have our UUCC annual holiday party. We're doing it online at 5 o'clock. The Tuesday update will have the details because the board and I have put a list of kind of fun things together that we can do online. And the final thing I want to mention is that I'm trying for our service on the 20th to put together a slideshow of people's holiday cards, whether you send pictures or just beautiful images or notes, and whether it's email or a real card. If you would like to be included in our slideshow greeting, then send me an email with ideally a JPEG, but if it's something else, then I can probably make that work too. So, and then as always, I encourage you to please visit our website for all the links you will need. And, the last announcement. So last week, the worship committee and I got together with a couple of very brave souls who were confused by Zoom and wanted answers and help. And boy, did we learn a lot together. It was super fun. And I encourage any of you who feel a little intimidated by Zoom, a little bit intimidated by the whole tech learning process, to shake off your fears and worries and join us. We're going to make a cheat sheet, a Zoom cheat sheet, and we're going to do another tech help workshop. So if that's something you're interested in, you can also put your name, say, I want some tech help, and put that in the chat, or you can send an email to the office. And so we'll know that when we're ready to do one, we'll make sure to include you in that. Okay. So we hope today and every day you will be inspired by the words of James Vila Blake, written in 1894. Love is the spirit of this faith, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. I now welcome you into this time apart from time.
Audience will be increased from blood sugar risk.
thank you, Bill. And Bill is bringing us two pieces of music from Beethoven today because it is the 250th anniversary of Beethoven's birth on the 16th, I believe, right? Yes. So thank you. If you have your chalice ready, we're going to light our chalice together. The words will appear on the screen.
We light this chalice in grateful, loving community.
Even in the darkest of times,
its flame light paths
to courage, justice, and hope.
This morning, since we are also in the season of Hanukkah, I bring you a video created by one of my colleagues, the Reverend Joanna Lubkin.
Good morning. Last night, families around the world lit Hanukkah candles, lighting 3 candles for the 3rd night of the festival. So I bring this morning the practice of lighting candles to this Unitarian Universalist congregation, where many of us, like myself, have a Jewish background or want to honor the Jewish holidays. The rabbis of the Talmud, well, they argued a lot, and one of the things they argued over was how one should light the Hanukkah lights. One rabbi and his school of thought that each night you should add an extra light, that on the first night you light 1 candle or lamp, and the second night you light 2, and so on. Another school of thought said, no, you should start with 8 and get fewer and fewer as it goes on. So from 8 candles and lamps or lights to 7 and 6. Well, as you may have guessed, the school of thought about adding light won over time, that's what we do. And the rationale is that we should be increasing light. We should be increasing joy in the world. We should be bringing more light to darkness. I'm taking that to heart this year, that in a year where things have been hard, let's add light. Let's add joy. Let's add wonder. So whatever that looks like for you, may this be a season of increasing light and joy, warmth and connection during long nights. I'll sing the Hanukkah blessings in Hebrew, the first 2 blessings over the candle, and the third for the first time in a year where one does something. And since this is the first Sunday this year where we're lighting Hanukkah candles together, we'll sing that one as well. And following that, we'll say the English translation. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu le'adlik ner shel Chanukah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asa nisim lavoteinu bayamim hahem ba'azman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'echianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Amen. Blessed are you, source of all, who brings moments of holiness to our lives through the ritual of lighting the Hanukkah lights. Blessed are you, source of all, who brings our attention to miracles from ages past to this very moment. Blessed are you, source of all, who has given us life, sustained us, and brought us to this very moment. And let us say, Amen. Happy Hanukkah.
Our opening words this morning come from The Heart of Our Faith by Monica Jacobson Tennyson. What is it that calls you here? That calls you onward, that calls you inward, that leads you homeward? What is it that gives you the power to make that change, to ask that question, to take that journey? What is it that says you have done well, that asks you to learn more, that brings you to stillness, that holds you up in hard times? It is relationship, the beating heart of our faith. It begins when we share this hour, our truths, this air, our hearts. Come, let us worship together. And we'll start by saying our unison affirmation together and then move into our hymn, Wake Now My Senses. May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love to all living beings. May we know once again that we are not isolated, but connected in wonder and joy to mystery and miracle in the universe, in this community, and in each other. Thank you, Catherine and Ella, for recording that for us. We now come to our not for children only moment. And I really mean it today, that this is not just for the children. This is a well, it comes from a book designed to teach children meditation. It's entitled Sitting Still Like a Frog. And I'm going to invite us all to be part, since our theme this morning is stillness and the title is Be Still and Know. So Eileen Snell is a psychologist and a meditation teacher, and she created this book. And we're going to do a little activity from it. So I hope everyone will engage. Does your mind sometimes look like this colored blotch spattered about? Do your thoughts or your whole body have a hard time sitting still? You bouncing around a lot of the time? Do you like to move and jump and hop around like a frog or other hoppy creature? Do your thoughts do the same thing? Well, in this book, we learn, as many of us know too, that frogs are masters of sitting still. So we are going to engage in a practice entitled Sitting Still Like a Frog, or The Little Frog, I think this one is called. It's a meditation from the book, and I'd like everyone, as for our Not for Children Only time, to find a comfortable position, whatever works for you. If you're sitting, maybe feet on the floor, that's always pretty nice. Your back in a good way, and we're just going to listen to this meditation and participate in it, and then we'll see how we feel.
Exercise number 2, The Little Frog. In this exercise, I'd like to teach you to sit still like a frog. All you need to do is find a place to sit with your back straight, your legs either crossed or stretched out, and your attention focused on yourself. Frogs can jump really far and croak really loud, but they can also sit very still and do nothing. Frogs also may find it difficult to sit still at first. Their arms want to move, their legs want to move. But the more you practice, the better you'll get. And then you'll enjoy doing nothing at all, except to sit still as a frog. If you like, you can close your eyes, or half close them. Just do whatever feels good to you. And now, just like the frog, you're sitting still as you possibly can. But to be still, you need attention and calmness. Your legs are still, your arms are still, your bottom is still, and even your head is still and calm. And while you're sitting here, maybe you notice that some part of you is always moving. Your eyes, maybe. Or a finger. Or maybe your bottom can't stop wiggling. And that's absolutely fine. It's not that you're not allowed to move, but that you notice that something is moving. And do you know what else is always moving? No matter how still you are? It's the breath in your belly. Why don't you put your hands on your belly and feel it move up and down a bit while you're breathing? You can feel your belly move up a bit and down a bit, up a bit and down a bit. Can you feel it? Tuning into your breathing calms you down. And just like the frog, you're sitting still as you possibly can. See if you can stay tuned into the breath in your belly for a little while longer. That's it. You're doing great. Tuning into your breathing can be very helpful when you've fallen down, for example, or when you're really angry, when you're tired, or when you just want to relax a bit. Maybe you want to practice sitting still like a frog again tomorrow. Who knows? When you hear the bells in a moment, you can get up again and get on with your day. I hope you have lots of fun today.
I hope that everyone enjoyed sitting still like a frog and hearing her invitation to try it again sometime. And in my prep for this, I found this little rhyme to remind us. I am a little frog, sitting still as can be. I see all things that happen around me. I take a breath in, I let it go out, over and over again, without a doubt. I am a little frog, sitting still as can be. Peaceful and quiet is how you find me. So I encourage everyone, kids, grown-ups who act like kids, to find the time every day, or at least every other day, even once a week, to find that stillness, to sit still like a frog. And as we come out of that practice, I invite us into contemplation and compassion. So take one more short moment of stillness to listen closely to your innermost silent self. What is your heart telling you today? What are you hearing in your stillness? If you have a joy, no, reverse that. If you have a sorrow or sadness or loss that you'd like to share, you can type it into the chat or simply carry it silently and put your hand upon your heart. I will, Melissa. I will think of you on the 18th. Yes, it's sad. Children don't get to go to school and be with their friends. It's rough on them, I know. Now, if in your stillness you connected to something that brought you gratitude, joy, or a new perspective, I again invite you to type that into the chat or carry it silently by placing a hand on your heart or a second hand on your heart. Oh, very sad to see that, Erin. Lost a family member to COVID. Yeah, the work of being a parent, being a strong but firm, loving mama, friend, family member. I hear gratitude. Paula shares gratitude for the abundance in her life. A fantastic birthday. Ah, a surprise happy birthday sing. Ooh, a skyline tapestry being shared. Peter got an exciting new job that we can't wait for him to tell us about when the time is right. Right, just being, even amidst the stuff, I'm assuming those are things that are swirling around in Sasha's life, but just being here and being important. I too find myself grateful that even though things don't seem like maybe we want them to be, I'm just feeling grateful to be here, be alive. Spirit of life, we ask you to carry our joys and sorrows, our worries, our imaginings. Be with us as we enter a season of stillness. Encourage us to listen to our still small voice with gratitude and abundant love. We say, blessed be and amen. I will keep going through the chat and offering prayers for folks as we move into a meditative music segment with our offering. And I want everyone to know that at the end of the offering, I will be closing down the chat until the end of the service, and I'll restart it. So if there's anything you want to put in there, this. So I'm going to put a slide that shows our offering information before I stop sharing so that we can hear Bill play some more Beethoven. So this work we do together, where we hold one another in community, extends beyond our walls, and your generosity every week makes this possible. This month, we are sharing our plate with the Boys and Girls Club of Ulster County. There are many ways to give. You can just go to our website, click donate. We have our text option. And of course, you could still mail checks, but I'm going to encourage folks to keep trying this new technology so that we can move away from paper and things like that. And I'm going to hope that you all have seen that or know that, or maybe Karma can pop those things in the chat. And I'm going to spotlight Bill, who is going to play, where is it? Bagatelle, Opus 119, number 4. But now, okay, Bill. Thank you, Bill. And thank you, everyone, for your generosity and the many ways you help serve this community. I'm going to spotlight Tom Hackett, Secretary of the Board of Trustees, who will do today's reading.
Today's reading is by Thomas Merton from Creative Silence, written in 1968. Imagine a man or a group of people who, alone or together in a quiet place where no radio, no background music can be heard, simply sit for an hour or a half hour in silence. They do not speak. They do not pray aloud. They do not have books or papers in their hand. They are not reading or writing. They are not busy with anything. They simply enter into themselves, not in order to think in an analytical way, not in order to examine, organize, plan, but simply in order to be. They want to get themselves together in silence. They want to synthesize, to integrate themselves, to rediscover themselves in a unity of thought, will, understanding, and love that goes beyond words, beyond analysis, even beyond conscious thought. They want to pray not with their lips, but with their silent hearts, and beyond that, with the very ground of their being. What would prompt modern people to do such a thing? Are they moved by a sense of human need for silence, for reflection, for inner seeking? Do they want to get away from the noise and tension of modern life, at least for a little while, in order to relax their minds and wills and seek a blessed, healing sense of inner unity, reconciliation, integration? Silence has many dimensions. It can be a regression and an escape, a loss of self, or it can be presence, awareness, unification, self-discovery. When we are constantly in movement, always busy meeting the demands of our social role, passively carried along on the stream of talk in which people mill around from morning to night, we are perhaps able to escape from our deeper self and from the questions it poses. We can be more or less content with the external identity, the social self, which is produced by our interaction with others in wheeling and dealing of everyday life. But no matter how honest and open we may be in our relations with others, this social self implies a necessary element of artifice. It is always, to some extent, a mask. It has to be. There is a silent self within us whose presence is disturbing, precisely because it is so silent. It can't be spoken. It has to remain silent. To articulate it, to verbalize it, is to tamper with it, and in some ways, to destroy it.
Thank you, Tom. I visited Blue Cliff Monastery a few years ago and bought this postcard. Be still and know. I had heard that phrase before in Buddhist circles, but also in Christian and Hebrew circles and seminary time, and even long before seminary. But in the Bible, in Psalm 46, the phrase says, "Be still and know that I am God." That always signaled something to me, something that told me that through stillness, quiet, solitude, we can more clearly hear the voice of the divine. In Psalm 46, it was God. So I didn't fully follow that line of thinking. but I like the sentiment. And I particularly like Thich Nhat Hanh's rendering of it, the cutting it to be still and know. But know what? Know that you are alive. Know that you are breathing. Know that you are here right now. What else can we know when we are finally still? Will we see that the pace we keep is perhaps not the best thing for us? Will we see that the expectations put upon us to be busy, productive, living on the go might not be all that healthy for us? Will we see how many distractions surround us, all the things that take us away from this deeper knowing, whether that deeper knowing is tied to a belief in God or some other sense of the divine, or if it is knowing what connects us to one another, nature, or a universal life force. We rarely find time for stillness. But the past 9 months has perhaps shown us what stillness looks like. Our pace, our lives have been deliberately slowed down. It's been challenging on many levels. I know that many of you feel isolated and alone, and I also know that others of you have welcomed the change of pace. I don't think that a global pandemic, though, should be the thing that reminds us of the importance of stillness and silence. Forced stillness is uncomfortable. But what if we made stillness a habit of mind? Like many of you, I have a lot of energy. I grew up in a fairly chaotic household with a fairly chaotic life, moving from 7 hours of school to 4 hours at a gymnastics practice every day for most of my life. I did a lot of moving. But I remember this one time when one of my coaches asked us all to sit on the floor and focus on a spot he had taped on the mat. He asked us to be still and look at this mark, and only this mark, on the floor for minutes. It was probably the first time I really understood what he or anyone really meant by focus. My practice of focus was usually in doing something. When you are flipping around on a 4-inch wide piece of wood, you tend to really pay attention. But sitting still like that was different. I certainly didn't seem to be able to do it during Catholic Mass on Sunday. But that coach was on to something. He was inviting us into a new way of working on our focus. And lo, these many years later, I truly welcome stillness into my life. I enjoy silence and stillness and what I learn from my own periods of silence and stillness. As Thomas Merton, who I hope most of you know is a monk and one of my, I don't know if I could call him a hero or my guru, I don't know, but I adore him. As Thomas Merton points out to us, we need the silence and the stillness to honor what is deep inside us. That silent self that gets covered, thwarted, ignored, it doesn't get to speak. We distract ourselves, we overwork. Heck, sometimes walking, supposed to be our silent time, that's not even silent enough. In jazz, we often talk about the space between the notes. When I'm scatting or one of my bandmates is soloing, those spaces are part of the story. It's easy to fill space with lots of notes. It's better to breathe and dig into the emptiness. The emptiness gives the notes more meaning. There is something to be learned by calming and quieting not only the voice, but also the body. In the meditation we did earlier, our guide asked us to notice our body once we invited it into silence. What did we feel? She then asked us to notice that even as we are still, our breath keeps moving. And I know regular meditators know that focusing on our breath is one way to help our bodies and minds be still. It is certainly important for us to be active because that helps us to care for our body, our current container. But it is just as important to find time for stillness, for the time needed to honor our body, to quiet our mind, to examine our thoughts and reactions, to focus on our breath, and to listen to the small voice inside of us. So I ask you, through stillness, what will you come to know? What will you learn about yourself? What will you learn about the world around you? What will you learn about your connection to that which is greater? May we all find time to quiet our bodies and minds. May we give stillness a regular place in our lives. May we be still so that we may know. May it be so. I invite us all into a hymn encouraging us to find this stillness. It's called Find a Stillness.
Find a stillness, hold a stillness, let the stillness carry me. Find the silence, hold the silence, let the silence carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find true harmony. Seek the essence, hold the essence, let the essence carry me. Let me flower, help me flower, watch me flower, carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find true harmony.
Thank you all for being here. Our closing words come from Thich Nhat Hanh. The miracle of mindfulness is, first of all, that you are here. Being truly here is very important. Being here for yourself and for the ones you love. How can you love if you are not here? A fundamental condition for love is your own presence. In order to love, you must be here. That is certain. Fortunately, being here is not a difficult thing to accomplish. It is enough to breathe and let go of thinking or planning. Just come back to yourself, concentrate on your breath, and smile. You are here, body and mind together. You are alive completely alive. That is a miracle. So I would like us to try something different to extinguish our chalice. So I'm going to encourage everyone in the spirit of being here, enjoying the miracle that is our aliveness, switch to gallery view and let's all see one another on the screen. And we're going to try unmuting ourselves, and we're all going to say our chalice extinguishing words together. And even if you don't know them perfectly, just do your best, although by now you ought to know these people. I don't know. And so find your chalice or candle. I'll lead us. And we're going to, so what we're going to do is extinguish the chalice. We're going to unmute. We're going to see what happens. We're going to stay unmuted and go into our benediction. And then I'm going to say a couple more things before we wrap up and move into breakout rooms. All right. So let's give this a whirl. We extinguish flames, but not
the light of community,
the warmth
of command,
or the fire of these
carry our hearts
to the
to each other again.
That was pretty good. I know singing is probably not going to work. So let's mute again so that we can all sing our benediction out, but stay on gallery view so that you can see each other while you're singing and scroll through to each other. So if you're not muted yet, do that. And I'm going to give us our benediction tone. Here we go. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. I encourage everyone to scroll through and wave. It's wonderful to see everyone. And I would like to remind you that if you want one of the books, if you want to be involved in something, put it in the chat or send an email. And please also think of sticking around for breakout rooms. I know lots of folks have other things to do, but if you want to stay and meet people, and I would encourage you in your breakout rooms, I know you don't always listen to me, right? You know, I get it, right? But if you can, in your breakout rooms, maybe talk about this notion of a practice of stillness or quiet, or how it helps you or works for you, or maybe see if you want to find an accountability buddy to help you add more stillness into your life in some way. And what I'm going to do is so we're going to do, we have a children's chapel room, which I think Jane told me who's going in there. I'm going to do UU 101, but it is only for folks who are visiting or who are considering becoming members. So just because I really want to focus my energy and time with those people, Mary, I'll bring you with me as a member of the membership committee. So if you want to do that, raise your hand or type your name into the chat that you want to come with me to UU 101. And then I'm going to let you, you know how it takes me a while to make these groups. So feel free to unmute and see if you can try to talk to each other in this wild Hollywood Squares exponential, right? Look, oh my God, I can't get enough of the jazz hands today. What is going on? It must be like the birthday verve or something. I don't know. So everybody, jazz hands. Yeah. All right, thank you. Yeah. All right, I'm going to stop putting us live on YouTube or they're going to think we're completely out of our minds.